Thanks again for joining me for one of my lunchtime quick knit tips. In this three-part series, we've been working on chart reading. And last time, we worked partway through a beautiful scroll lace pattern, which you can see here. And this pattern has some very lovely open work effects. And so today, we're going to work another few rows together. But before we get started, let's just take a quick look at the chart so you'll have time to practice this pattern on your own. Let's just jump right in and take a quick look at this chart that we're about to work. So starting on row 10, which is our wrong side row, our first stitch is a purl stitch. And when you take a look down at the stitch key, you can see that an empty box represents a purl stitch on the wrong side. The next stitch is actually a yarn over, which is down here also on the key. And so we'll work a yarn over, work across the 8 stitches. We're going to purl those stitches. And then when we get to the end of the repeat, we're going to purl 2 stitches together through the back loops, which I'll explain and show you in just a few seconds. And then we work the area between these 2 red brackets. That's our repeat. Work that again, and then balance out the last stitch with a purl stitch. Purl the first stitch, yarn over, purl 8, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now purl 2 together through the back loops. Bring the yarn in front. Then you purl those stitches together as 1, work the repeat once more, yarn over, and then purl 8, purl through the back loops once more. So now we have a chance to practice this again. It's a little tricky, but once you get the hang of it, it'll be good to go. And then we purl that last stitch to balance out the repeat. Let's take a look now at row 11, which is now the right side of the work. Knit the first stitch, because if you look down at our stitch key, you can see that an empty box represents a knit stitch on the right side. Then work an SSK, which means you slip 1 stitch as if to knit, slip another stitch as if to knit, and then knit the stitches together as 1. This creates a decreased stitch that slants to the left. Then knit 7, yarn over, and then knit the last stitch in the repeat. Then work between these 2 red brackets again to complete another repeat, then knit your last stitch to balance out the repeat. I also want to just point something out very quickly. You can see some written numbers here on the chart, and I do this so that I don't have to worry too much about counting my stitches. So use whatever method works best for you. Let's just take a really quick look here at the work. We just finished row 11, and I want to point out just a few important things. We just worked an SSK, which you can see right here, and you can also see it at the beginning of the row. So if you remember that from working your chart. Also, notice that this stitch, which we had already determined, we know it slants to the left, and the stitch below it also slants to the left. And you may be wondering, why is that? Well, we worked a purl 2 together through the back loops, if you remember, on row 10. And when we do that, it makes the stitch slant to the left on the right side of the work. Well, that completes part 3 of our 3-part series on chart reading. For more quick knit tips, please go to splendidsticks.com and click on Lunchtime Quick Knit Tips. Thanks for joining me.